Tonight on Coyote News, videos are circulating online showing North Dakota's water starting on fire. And South Dakota's economic future is looking up. I'm John Wetherington.
And I'm Kathleen Suri. With the muck expansion complete, USD is moving on to its next big project, a $65 million sports complex. And students say they're concerned about the early closing times for campus dining.
Plus, both men and women's basketball teams fell to rival SDSU this weekend. But the indoor track and field teams are breaking school records and ranking nationally. But first, the headlines with Abby Pierce.
Arrests have been made in connection with the death of Oscar winner and renowned actor Philip Seymour Hoffman. He passed away Sunday in his Greenwich Village apartment from an apparent drug overdose. 4 people are in custody under suspicion of providing the drugs. Law enforcement officials say at the time of his death there was a syringe in his arm as well as several packages laying around that appeared to be filled with heroin. Hoffman was an admitted drug addict who first sought professional help more than 2 decades ago. He's best known for his roles in The Master, Boogie Nights, and Capote. The Olympic flame finally reached Sochi, Russia today after a 39,000-mile trek, the longest in the history of the Olympics. The torch traveled through the North Pole, Europe's highest mountain, the world's deepest lake, and into space. Carrying the torch was no small task since the flame flickered out dozens of times and even engulfed some of the torchbearers. The Olympics begin on Friday. And those are your headlines.
A January economic survey is suggesting growth in 9 Midwestern states, including South Dakota. The monthly economic index for the region rose to 57.7 last month, compared with 53.2 in December. That puts the index well above a neutral score of 50 and into positive territory. The survey covers Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, and South Dakota. A USD sorority is raising money and awareness for women's heart health this week. Alpha Phi is sponsoring Go Red Week, ending Friday with a blood drive in the muck. Earlier in the week, they hosted a Zumba class, a basketball challenge, and a cardiac arrest event where students were under arrest until someone bailed them out with a donation. Tomorrow, Alpha Phi is tabling in the muck for their Kiss Slap Hug event. You can purchase a kiss, slap, or hug for $2. The Alpha Phis will deliver it to anyone on campus. Friday concludes Go Red Week with National Wear Red Day. All the proceeds from each fundraiser will go directly to the Sororities Foundation, which supports women's heart health. Hearts with the names of participants or in honor of people affected by cardiac conditions are on display this week in the muck.
Reports have been circulating recently that some water in North Dakota is actually flammable. Coyote News' Charlie Daldorf says there are also videos being posted on YouTube of people taking matches to an open faucet.
Dorm life at USD is supposed to be a comfortable and cozy experience. Students must be aware of possible hazards during their stay. But would anybody think what would happen if the water could be flammable?
I'd be pretty scared, honestly, because you could just take a light and with the water's on it, catch everything on fire. Everything could catch on fire, ruin our dorm and stuff.
This is caused by the fracking in the North Dakota oil field. The water and oil mix together, which leads to flammable water.
Well, I'd probably be pretty scared because a lot of my friends like to play with fire, so they might think it's funny to go start the water on fire when I'm in the shower and then look who gets 3rd-degree burns.
For Coyote News, I'm Charlie Daldorf.
Thanks, Charlie. Just to clarify, USD's dorm water is not flammable. Coming up after the break, plans are well underway for the U's next major building project, a $65 million sports complex. And is Redbox becoming the new Netflix? Stay with us.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
The best thing about Coyote News is the fact that it's an entirely student-led effort.
Bring up the audio of it.
The planning, the content, the crew, it's all students.
Stand by camera 2.
We learn all these hands-on skills that will prepare us for our futures. Coyote News is something we'll be able to hang on to for the rest of our lives. Watch Coyote News every Wednesday at 5, right here on Channel 21.
Many college students have switched from paying for cable to paying for Netflix. But now they might be switching from Netflix to Redbox. Redbox, like Netflix, is now offering a streaming video plan that includes movies, along with 4 nights of DVD rentals for $8 a month. Customers can also pay an extra $1 a month if they'd like to upgrade to Blu-ray discs. There are currently 29.2 million subscribers on Netflix, but Redbox may come close to that number with its new streaming videos. Many students are Netflix fans because of the popular television series that it offers. But since Redbox has a more up-to-date movie selection and the ability to order DVDs with no extra charge, Netflix fans might think twice before choosing sides.
Experts say the Listeria strain found in a sample of raw milk sold in South Dakota is not the one that often makes people sick. Raw milk proponents say coverage brought to the case by state officials is creating undue negative attention. Last month, the state agriculture department announced that a sampling of bottled raw milk from Brookings-based Jerseydale Farms tested positive for Listeria. The agency then cautioned the public that unpasteurized milk bought from the operation might contain harmful bacteria. But scientists say that the Listeria strain found in the milk isn't the one that poses health threats. The state agriculture department says it was obligated to inform the public about a possible health threat, even though tests of the Listeria strain hadn't been completed at the time of the announcement. The deadline for a task force committee to make recommendations on a Senate bill that would open up more SGA seats has been extended an additional week. Senate Bill 62 is currently under review by the Student and Internal Affairs Committee. The bill would reserve 4 at-large SGA Senate seats for traditionally marginalized on-campus organizations. Senator Alexis Olskolkoff, who proposed the bill, says the committee divided their assessment of the bill into 2 areas. Internal Affairs is looking at the legislation's in-house disciplinary actions, and Student Affairs is working with students and the traditionally marginalized organizations recognized by the bill. Oskolkoff says it felt like they were underrepresented in SGA and that their voices weren't being heard.
Construction for USD's $65 million sports complex and academic complex is on track to begin this coming spring. Athletic Director David Herbster says they still need to raise $9.5 million to make sure the arena is built within the desired timeline. Phase 1 of the project will feature a 6,000-seat arena for basketball and volleyball. Phase 2 entails renovations to the Dakota Dome, including end-zone seating for football. The third and final phase includes an outdoor track and soccer complex. The basketball arena will be constructed to the south of the Dakota Dome, while the track and soccer complex will be located east of the dome.
On this week's Coyote blog, Charlie Daldorf is begging for some new living space on campus.
Hello, everybody. So we got ourselves a muck expansion. How about we get a dorm expansion? Because man, it's getting pretty crowded around here. We have all these great food places to eat, but nowhere to live or stay. Heck, I just might haul my mattress here and sleep on top of this news desk once the show is over. Housing here at USD has become claustrophobic the last couple of years. I know up in North Complex, people have been living in the lounge areas. That's not good at all. I've also heard that getting a house outside of campus is a nightmare. It seems to me that the housing conditions at USD are not entirely ideal. Let's work together on this. Where can we forge new paths for new dorms on campus? I don't think there are many options for us to choose from. Here's my plan. We tear down Julian Hall and make a brand spanking new dorm. There are some grass fields in between Burgess and North Complex, but people will use those during spring and summer for activities and such. And lastly, there are some fields north of North Complex. We can call those dorms Super North Complex. Yeah, let's go with the Julian Hall idea. Then we can work from there. Let's face it, my fellow muggles, Vermilion isn't getting smaller anytime soon. For Coyote Blog, I'm Charlie Daldorf, and I'll see you guys next time.
Coming up after the break, although the new muck expansion has added dining options, students are having to adjust to its limited hours of operation. Plus, USD Foundation performs well in a national ranking. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
If you came in late, you can watch anything you missed on our YouTube channel.
Students with late classes are having trouble finding something to eat on campus. Despite the new dining options introduced with the Muck expansion, all campus restaurants close at 7 o'clock. SGA President Eric Muckey says dining hours are determined by Aramark, the university, and the national chains like Einstein's. Any changes to the dining schedule would likely require new contracts between the three. Muckey says he hopes that the SGA will be introduced in the contracting process as a voice for students' future needs. The USD Foundation is in the top 25% nationally. A study by the National Association of College and University Business Officers measures USD's endowment earnings against 835 participating colleges and universities across the U.S. The 2013 survey places USD ahead of all other participating South Dakota colleges and universities. The U's Foundation endowment is listed 300th in the national ranking. The foundation has a return of 15.9% in comparison to an average 11.7% among all participants.
A few weeks ago, Arizona State University's Tau Kappa Epsilon fraternity made the news following the posting of racist pictures taken at their Martin Luther King Jr. Day party. Erica Arpan is live in the muck with TEAC Vice President Lucas Peterson to find out how USD Greek Life teaches their members to avoid such incidents. Erica?
Thanks, Kathleen. I am standing here with Lucas Peterson of the TEAC fraternity, and he is going to talk about their risk management and how they are taking precaution to avoid the events that happened at Arizona State. Thanks for being with us, Lucas.
No problem.
What steps does your fraternity take to make sure events like the one at ASU won't happen here?
Well, first, I think we just use our common sense, and then we have to remember what TEAC was founded on. TEAC was the first fraternity to not have a discriminatory clause in their constitution on which members they chose. And so I feel that when we keep true to those values, these things don't happen. And obviously down there, they forgot that.
And what kind of risk management training does USD sorority and fraternity life offer?
Well, they do seminars every semester for each house's risk manager. They come and get in a group and bring a speaker to talk about things. But another great thing that they have is graduate assistants in our house. They help us a lot with risk management strategies and just giving us advice on how to best train our risk managers.
After hearing negative news about fraternities all across the nation recently, how does this affect your chapter?
Well, I think it just keeps us more mindful of these things, and that we're part of something bigger than ourselves, and that our actions don't only reflect upon us and our chapter, but across the nation as well.
All right, thanks so much, Lucas.
No problem.
That was Lucas Peterson, Vice President of Tau Kappa Epsilon. Live in the muck, I'm Erica Arpan.
On this week's Yield Report, Bailey Milling catches up with USD star freshman diver Grayson Herding.
The USD diving team has found a lot of success in freshman diver Grayson Herding. This week on the Yield Report, I take a look into her successful transition into college diving. In her first season at USD, Herding has been named the Summit League Diver of the Week an unprecedented 9 times. Last week, she earned her 4th consecutive Diver of the Week award. The success is nothing new to Herding, earning All-American status as a junior and winning the Division I Wisconsin State Championship as a senior. In the fall of 2012, Herding won every individual competition she entered.
It's nice to get some recognition. Honestly, a little embarrassing, but I like it.
Apart from all her success, Herding does have one weakness, her pregame drink.
I'm a big sucker for McDonald's frappes. Those are prime.
In her last competition, Herding finished 1st in the 1-meter dive and 2nd in the 3-meter dive. With just one competition remaining before the conference championships, Herding feels indifferent about the season ending.
It'll be nice to have a season under my belt to get ready for next year, but I don't know if I want it to end quite yet. I like it.
The USD swimming and diving teams will travel to the University of Minnesota this weekend and participate in the Minnesota Challenge, their last competition before traveling to Indianapolis on February 19th for the 4-day Summit League Championship event. Grayson Herding will look to make a real splash in the Summit League in hopes of advancing to the National Championships on March 10th in Minneapolis. For the Yote Report, I'm Bailey Millen.
Coming up after the break, both men's and women's basketball teams fell to rival SDSU this weekend. Plus, sports commentator Courtney Sterrett talks about how USD fans held on to their Yote pride. Stay tuned.
Always there for you. Coyote News, Wednesday, live at 5.
Tonight on Coyote Sports, both men's and women's basketball suffer losses against in-state rival SDSU. But commentator Courtney Sterrett says the fans can hold on to their Yote pride. I'm Nathan Ellenbecker.
And I'm Nicole Griffith. The women's indoor track and field team had one athlete set a school record, while another climbed to the top of the national rankings. Plus, Coyote News' Taylor Moore is downtown at Old Lumber Company with an update on the football signings. First, the headlines. Abby?
A record-setting number of viewers tuned in to watch the Seattle Seahawks crown the winners of Super Bowl 49 Sunday night. They beat the Denver Broncos 43-8. Nielsen ratings indicate the Super Bowl again set the record for the most watched television event in U.S. history, with 111.5 million people watching the game. Olympic snowboarder Shaun White has announced he will not be participating in the slopestyle event this year. After White received a minor injury while practicing earlier this week, he decided to drop out of the new event and focus on the halfpipe competition. Several snowboarders have been injured already, including broken bones and concussions. Officials plan to make changes to the slopestyle course before the qualifying rounds. Jameis Winston of the Florida State Seminoles won the Heisman Trophy last year and led his team to a national title. But Winston continues to receive honors in more than just football. Winston also plays baseball for the Seminoles, and he's been named to Baseball America's preseason All-American third team after playing his freshman season. Despite his popularity after the football season, Winston says he welcomed the opportunity to play again as a sophomore. And that's a look at what's new in sports.
It's National Signing Day, and the USD football team has received many national letters of intent from future Coyotes. Live correspondent Taylor Moore is on the phone from the Old Lumber Company, where Coyote coach Joe Glenn is hosting a signing day event. Taylor?
Absolutely. I'm at the Old Lumber Company because it is one of the 3 sites in which USD football is hosting the National Signing Day. Head coach Joe Glenn and his assistants are on hand, and there's a good-sized crowd of college supporters here, too. And it's all for National Signing Day. As some college football programs find out who will be their new players on the roster. Many players have opportunities to go to several schools, and that was finding out who picked USD. The new Coyotes had the potential to become stellar collegiate athletes, and that's why this event is so important to USD fans. The event started at 5 here at the OLC. We heard the names of some of the year's recruiting class. There's a list of about 30, but I have at least about 5 standouts offensively and defensively that the coaches wanted me to know. Josh Hale, Takari Parker, Adam Cotter, Adam Harris, and Jay Glore. And there you have it, the 2014 signing day recruit. Hopefully be able to help USD and Coach Joe Glenn in his 3rd season with the Yotes come fall. Live from the Old Lumber Company for Coyote News, I'm Taylor Moore.
Taylor, who do you think will make the biggest impact at USD?
Absolutely. From talking to all of the coaches and hearing, especially what Joe Glenn said, Takari Parker looks like he is going to be one of the individuals to make the biggest impact here in this 2014 recruiting class. He's a wide receiver out of Chicago, Illinois.
All right, thank you, Taylor. And that is Taylor That is Coyote News' Taylor Moore, live from the OLC.
The Coyote men's basketball team added another win last night against NAIA opponent Peru State. They're now at 9-11 for the season and 3-4 in the Summit League. Head coach Joey James says the team's record will continue to improve.
I think more than anything, our strength has been our depth, has been our bench play, and our ability to defend and rebound. But we got to be able to do it for 40 minutes.
Saturday, the Coyotes faced longtime in-state rival SDSU. The Yotes started off strong, leading the first half of the game, but came up short against the Jacks in the second half.
We're trying to hang our hat right now on our defense and rebounding, and it's something that's got to improve, but we're getting better.
With 2 turnovers in the final 30 seconds, the Jacks won 70-68, but USD doubled up Peru last night, 80-40. They traveled to Denver on Saturday.
The women's basketball team suffered their 5th loss in the Summit League at SDSU on Sunday. The Jacks used 9 first-half three-pointers to take a 53-35 lead into the locker room, but the Yotes weren't able to get within 12 points for the rest of the night. The game ended in favor of the Jacks 88-69. USD top scorers were Nicole Seacamp with 13 points and Bridget Arns, who scored a season-high 12 points. Friday night, the Coyotes will host Denver at the Dome at 7. This begins the second half of their Summit League season.
The indoor track and field teams had a number of notable performances at the Bill Bergen Invite in Ames, Iowa on Saturday. For the women, Emily Grove reached the highest pole vault mark in the nation. Grove vaulted 14 feet, 3 1/4 inches to secure the #1 spot on the national list. In the women's high jump, Megan Gleiser won the event and set a school record with a jump of 6 feet and a half inch. The men's team also had 2 first placers. T. Vasky Lewin won the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 7.95 seconds, and Casey Shade won the 1,000-meter run with a time of 2 minutes and 27.65 seconds. Both teams will compete at the Frank Zazine Husker Invite in Lincoln, Nebraska, and the USD Alumni Meet in the Dakota Dome this weekend.
On this week's sports commentary, Courtney Sterrett thanks USD students and fans for keeping their head held high after some tough weekend losses.
Everyone's heard one way or the other that the Coyotes lost both the men's and women's basketball games this past weekend against in-state rivals, the Jackrabbits. The men lost by 2 points on Saturday, and the women were down 19 on Sunday. Almost instantly, it's as if Brookings exploded all over social media. And of course, hateful remarks were made towards us Yotes. Even though it was hard to avoid all the tweets against USD, it was easier to spot the encouraging words coming from our supporters and fellow Coyotes. I'm sure there were some comebacks in the line of fire back at the Jacks, but I couldn't help but notice how much our student body was really coming together for the support. In the Dome on Saturday, the atmosphere was incredible. Red filled the stands and the energy was through the roof. During the highs and lows, USD kept it together and didn't stop cheering. Even after the lights were shut off at the end of the day, the Jacks hardly left a scratch. Keep up the great work, USD. Both the men and women played great games, and we definitely gave them a run for their money. So listen up, Jacks. You can try to rub these wins in our noses, but you've only just awakened the Yote Pack. You didn't tear us down, and we're ready for you if you really want to see how hard we bite. See you next month. For Coyote Sports, I'm Courtney Sterrett.
Thanks, Courtney. After the break, we'll hear how students' New Year's resolutions are going and what Chuck in the Muck is up to this week. Stay with us.
Not getting your message across clearly? Contact Kyle Creative for all your promotional needs.
Going to the gym every day, studying more often, and saving money. These are some of the most common New Year's resolutions that people make when January 1st rolls around. But how often do these promises stick?
On this week's Out and About, we asked students how their New Year's Eve resolutions are going so far.
Get more sleep.
Gotta stop shopping so much. I spend way too much money, so I'm gonna cut down on that this week and year.
I do not like to make a New Year's resolution because I do not like to set myself up for failure.
I did, and it's going pretty well. It was to get to the gym more often, and I've been going 4 times a week.
My New Year's resolution this year was to work out more and eat healthier and stay away from junk food, and so far it's working out pretty good.
I was supposed to go to the gym every day, but I failed miserably.
I don't actually have a New Year's resolution. I believe that anything that can be done on New Year's can be done any other day of the year.
I actually didn't make a New Year's resolution, so for me it's going great.
I promised myself I'd start working out again. So far, I don't know, I've skipped a few days.
My New Year's resolution was to go to the wellness center like at least once a day, and all week I've been doing that, and I can tell that I've made a difference in my body and my health.
On this week's Chuck in the Muck, Chuck Gresser quizzes students on history.
This is Chuck in the Muck. I'm Chuck, and we are
Anthony Williams.
I wanted you to say in the muck, but okay.
Oh.
Hi, this is Chuck in the Muck.
How's it going?
I'm Chuck.
Eric.
We're in the muck.
Yeah.
Who won the Civil War?
Britain?
Us.
No. Oh, Civil War? Oh my god. The South?
That's all we need.
South?
No, that's even worse. Okay, we need to leave. Hey, Teresa and Jimmy, my main man. How you doing? Who's the first man on the moon? It was a man.
You sure? I thought it was a woman.
Women weren't allowed to do things yet. It sounds similar to Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, it's Lance Armstrong.
No, it's Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Who discovered gravity?
Ozzy Osbourne.
So as fast as you can scoop. Working with the crew the last couple months, I've really, mastered the art of leading. I've really garnered their respect. Guys, let me out. Seriously, come on. What's up, Gerald?
I ran out of popcorn in the movie theater, so I started eating the ice in the cup, and then I ran out of the ice in the cup, and then I just didn't like popcorn anymore.
Reynolds! Don't act like you don't know me.
This is like jaywalking with Jay Leno. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is Chuck in the Muck. Can I ask you a question? Can you name the faces on Mount Rushmore?
Lincoln, Washington, and I can't remember the other two.
Teddy Rushmore? No.
Thomas Jefferson
And Teddy Roosevelt.
and Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes, you got them! Wow! What do sheep count when they can't sleep?
Humans.
Peanuts. I'm Chuck Gresser, and this has been
Chuck in the Muck!
A new copy of the Volant hit newsstands today. Be sure to pick up a paper to read how a lawsuit has prompted a major change in how professors handle possible cheating incidents. And no charges are being pressed in a reported rape case from the fall semester. Those stories and many others can be found online at volantonline.com. NBC News is reporting that an alleged robber nicknamed the Apologetic Bandit because of his polite demeanor is now in custody. 19-year-old Farhad Sarifi was arrested Saturday on suspicion of robbery. Orange County, California deputies say he held up at least 10 gas stations and convenience stores around Orange County over the past 12 to 14 months. Sarifi earned his tough guy nickname from surveillance footage in October that reportedly shows him telling a clerk, quote, "Have a good night, man. Sorry," unquote, after committing an armed robbery.
And that's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.